Where will XCN go? Is this the start of the downfall, or is this a simple fake out to bait people to sell their positions to then just go higher? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about XCN, and today we're going to be dissecting the price, and we're also going to be talking about the next potential pumps. And we are also going to talk about how important this weekly candle close is. Okay. So let's just jump right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been getting squished with the price, right? We've been getting squished from the downside and the upside. You might be a little bit confused. So let me just break this down in simple terms. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, the black candles represent sell and the blue candles represent buy. We can see for the sell candles, we have a bottom here. Then we have a higher bottom and higher bottom in terms of how it's closing, right? So we can clearly see the floor is higher each time, right? This floor is higher than this floor, and this floor is clearly higher than this floor, right? But we also can see we have a roof. This blue candle over here is a roof, but we can also see we have a lower roof, right? Because if we had a higher roof, it would close somewhere here, or it would close here or here, right? It would just close anywhere above practically 2 cents. But that was not the case. That was really, really not the case. So right now we are looking to see what is going to happen. As of right now, if we were to close today, we technically have the floor higher than here. Not by much, right? Literally, maybe not even 1%, right? Okay, like literally 1%, but it still technically counts as a higher floor. Now, we do want to see a little bit of a recovery, right? Just so we have a little bit of breathing room. It doesn't have to happen, but it would be very, very nice. And we could see that even if we go to the 4-hour candles, we kind of went from just hardcore sell off momentum to slowly shifting to sideways movement, which, you know what, is good, right? Is good. We just want to see, even if we went up, 1 or 2% pump back to this zone, right? Back to this temporary resistance. We just want to see something like this just so the weekly candle can close, fairly good. Like I said, technically, right, the floor for this weekly candle is still higher than this one. So, what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean we have confirmations of us going lower, okay? Because, ladies and gentlemen, that means we still have breathing room to go to the upside. You see, when the roof is collapsing, but the floor is raising up, that means there's more and more pressure on the coin to make a choice. Are you going to go up or are you going to go down? And, this is when, as a trader, if you are leverage trading, you either take, the risk of kind of gambling which way it's going to go based off probability, maybe based off other time frames, based off the context of markets, or you just simply wait, right? You just simply wait. Because the reality is, it's like, if we do get squished to the upside, then that means we're going to start seeing a big breakthrough, and we should start seeing momentum kind of rapidly go upwards, even upwards to roughly to this price over here of 2 cents, like 2.2 cents. So yeah, and you know what? As a man who sees how the markets are overall going, I do expect recoveries. I do expect for XCN to go out or to go up, sorry. We talked about like how there should be a fake out coming out. We should say how in the beginning of August it is most likely going to sell off, but that is just going to be simple manipulation. We also did know, ladies and gentlemen, that we were expecting a sell off because there was a gap. There was a gap at around 114,000 for Bitcoin. So we expected it to get filled up. And that is exactly what happened, right? This is Bitcoin futures. It only trades between Monday and Friday. But so sometimes it just leaves a gap, a weekend gap, or something pumps too quick. And it's very annoying, but it's something we have to fill just so the markets are fundamental. So we can see we sold off, but Bitcoin is looking to already be reversing, which is what we want to see. I overall do think Bitcoin has a lot of strength left, and I do genuinely believe it's still going to be the Bitcoin show for the next 2 to 3 months of us going really high up before we finally get the real bread and butter of altcoin season. So I do expect for us still to be doing well, for us still to be recovering, but the true bread and butter is going to come in a few short months. And listen, you want Bitcoin to go up an extra, 20, 30, 50,000, 100,000 if you can, even though it might take longer. Why? Because that means altcoin season pump is going to be harder, right? Would you give up another 2 to 3 months for your bag to be potentially 30% bigger? If you were to cash out, hypothetically, let's say you're a big boy, you made 100 grand, right? Well, would you take 100 grand and over the next 2 months, hypothetically, or would you wait another 4 or 5 months and take 130 grand? I think most people would just wait those extra 2 to 3 months for that extra 30%, right? And that's exactly what's going to be happening with something like XCN because I expect Bitcoin to at least rally to 150 to 160 before it crashes down, okay? Before we continue with the cycle. So, yeah, I expect XCN to be doing well, right? But it doesn't mean right now, over the next few weeks, there's going to be the most insane pumps. Even if we did pump over the next 2 weeks some very nice gains, we can see 60%. That's amazing, right? But you got to realize during altcoin season, we have 60% consistent days, right? Like 2/3 of the month is just the most insane gains you see. Some of the days are just sideways because they build up. And then you still have like 1, 2, or 3 sell days because it's just simple like market manipulation and just simple pullbacks to go further up. It's just super simple, right? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I ultimately expect. Let's see how Sunday plays out. This is very, very important because we do not want to be going below, once again, this weekly candle, because that would confirm a market shift. As long as we even close now where we are or higher, that means we're still, like I said, in between two zones, and we should be most likely pushing to the upside because of the context of the markets. I do not expect, for us to really crash down and go lower, because if we were to go lower, then we most likely would be hitting this order block over here, right? This nice weekly order block. We probably would also fill up some of this imbalance here, which would mean we probably would see a drastic drop of 30 to even 40%, right? Which I don't see happening. There are no signs that should be happening. But of course, we are going to wait for more confirmation to really call it. But just know once we do start breaking to the upside, it's going to be very, very nice and glorious. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think of XCN. Also, right, in terms of a bigger rally, we do have the Fibonacci tool we can use, right? Boom, like this. And I do expect for us to really start claiming higher levels once we have a little bounce off of this, right? Because these are the expansion levels, right? These are expansion levels. So I would not be surprised if we start hitting the 2.2, the 3.2. The 3.2 is very likely because it's going to be near the top. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a sell off around 4 cents before then we again continue to make pumps. But ultimately, XCN is looking really good. It's a very good coin. I still believe that we should still be hitting roughly 20x from here at the bare minimum. Let me know what you guys think of it. Let me know if you've been accumulating more. If you have a goal, maybe just a 2x, a 3x, a 5x. Let me know where you think it's going to head. I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.